Hello there, and welcome to the Sleep of Science channel. Tonight, we drift gently into the quiet and endlessly curious world of cats. These soft-footed companions have shared our homes, our stories, and our nights for thousands of years. And yet, despite all this closeness, they still move through our lives wrapped in mystery. They are familiar and unknowable at the same time. A warm presence curled at the foot of the bed, a sudden silent flash of movement in the dark, a steady gaze that feels older than language itself. Cats exist between worlds, part wild hunter, part devoted companion. They listen to sounds we never notice, sense changes we barely feel, and move through their days guided by instincts shaped long before cities, electric light, or ticking clocks. The more closely you watch them, the more astonishing they become. As we wander through this gentle exploration, you may find yourself seeing cats differently. Not just as pets, but as finely tuned little universes of biology, history, and behavior, all wrapped in fur and silence. If you enjoy these calm journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or leave a quiet thought below. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here, one at a time. But for now, there's nothing you need to do. Let your breathing soften. Let your eyes grow heavy. Allow the day to fade as we explore these remarkable little creatures together. Let's begin. Long before anyone thought of cats as pets, people began storing harvested grain. And wherever grain appeared, mice followed like a promise. That simple chain reaction created a new kind of meeting place. Wild cats bold enough to linger near human settlements found easy prey. Humans, in turn, found an unexpected ally. The cats that tolerated noise and movement ate well, survived more easily, and raised more kittens in safer corners. Over generations, the calmest hunters stayed close, while the most cautious ones kept their distance. This was not a single moment of capture. It was a slow, mutual agreement, shaped by full bellies and shared benefit. Even today, you can still see this balance in the way many cats choose when to approach, when to retreat, and how they keep one paw in the wild while living beside us. A cat's purr can vibrate through your bones, even in deep sleep. If you have ever held a purring cat against your chest, you know it is more than a sound. It is a physical presence, like a tiny engine humming with quiet intention. Those steady vibrations travel through fabric, skin, and rib cage, turning the body into a gentle resonator. For the cat, purring appears in comfort, in closeness, and sometimes even in moments of stress, acting like a self-soothing rhythm. Kittens purr while nursing, and mothers purr back, creating a soft guidance system in the dark. People often describe the sensation as deeply calming, as if the room itself has settled. It is one of the few animal sounds that can feel both intimate and enveloping at the same time. In a world full of sharp noise, a purr is continuous, gentle, and quietly powerful. Cats see in low light far better than humans, though not in complete darkness. A cat moving through the night can seem almost supernatural, slipping down a shadowed hallway as if carrying its own invisible lantern. The secret is not magic, and it is not night vision like a camera. It is a visual system designed for twilight. Cats are most active at dawn and dusk, when prey is alert and light is scarce. Their eyes are built to gather whatever light exists, making a moonlit room feel brighter to them than it does to us. That does not mean they can see when there is no light at all. In complete darkness, they rely on other senses, especially hearing and touch, but offer a faint glow from a street lamp, a hallway light, or a thin slice of moon, and their world suddenly becomes readable. To a cat, darkness often has texture. Your cat's whiskers act as finely tuned touch sensors, perfectly adapted for narrow spaces and subtle exploration. Whiskers are not simply longer hairs. They are specialized tools that help a cat measure the world without needing to look at it. Each whisker is rooted deeper than ordinary fur and connected to sensitive nerves that detect the smallest changes in air movement and contact. When a cat approaches a tight opening, its whiskers help judge whether the body will fit, almost like built-in measuring tape. They also allow a cat to map nearby objects in low light, feeling the edge of a table, the frame of a doorway, or the movement of a passing hand. You may notice whiskers angling forward when curiosity rises, then sweeping back when uncertainty appears. They are part of how cats move with such quiet confidence, especially in unfamiliar places. Because whiskers are so sensitive, rough handling around the face can feel overwhelming. To a cat, whiskers are information, not decoration. Cats communicate through scent, using invisible chemical messages called pheromones. Much of a cat's social world is written in a language humans cannot see. Pheromones are chemical signals that carry meaning, and cats leave them behind like silent notes pinned to the air. A rub against furniture, a slow pass through a doorway, or a careful sniff of a familiar corner can all be part of this exchange. These scent messages help cats recognize safe places, identify who has been nearby, and reduce tension by making an environment feel known. This is why a cat may carefully investigate a new bag, a visitor's shoes, or a room that has been rearranged. From the cat's point of view, smell is not just about food. It is about context, comfort, boundaries, and belonging. While humans rely heavily on sight, cats often trust what their nose tells them first. Their world is layered with invisible meaning. A cat's spine is built for sudden twists, helping save them during falls. Cats are designed for quick decisions in midair. When a fall begins, the spine can bend and rotate with remarkable agility, allowing the front and back halves of the body to adjust separately. This flexibility helps the cat reorient itself, spreading its limbs and preparing for landing with a precision that appears effortless. This ability is part of why cats often land on their feet from moderate heights, though falls can still cause serious injury. That twisting motion is connected to a broader style of movement. Cats leap, pivot, and thread through obstacles with a fluidity that makes the entire body seem like one continuous spring. Watch a cat change direction during play, and you will see the same ancient design at work. The spine is not just a stack of bones. It is a dynamic tool built for balance, control, and sudden power. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped, legally protected, and deeply mourned. They were not merely tolerated, but woven into daily life, belief, and law. Cats protected stored food by hunting pests, and that practical role grew into cultural reverence. They became associated with Bastet, a goddess linked to protection, home, and fertility. In certain periods, harming a cat could lead to severe punishment, reflecting how strongly society defended them. Families sometimes mourned cats with rituals that expressed genuine grief rather than casual loss. Archaeological discoveries include cat burials and artwork showing tenderness and respect, placing cats close to humans in scenes of domestic life. This stands as one of the earliest large-scale examples of a society shaping rules and meaning around an animal companion. It also reveals something familiar today. When people live closely with cats, they often begin to see them as more than hunters. Cats become symbols of safety, grace, and quiet strength. Many cats vocalize with humans using meows they rarely use with other cats. Adult cats do not rely on meowing as their primary way of communicating with one another. Instead, they use posture, scent, and subtle sounds that rarely match the dramatic meows heard at home. With humans, however, many cats develop a unique vocal style, almost as if they have discovered what works best on us. Some meows are short and bright, others long and drawn out, and some become so specific that owners swear they can tell them apart. Over time, cats often adjust their sounds based on what gets results. Whether it leads to food, an open door, or attention on the couch, this exchange becomes a shared routine shaped by familiarity and feedback. This is part of what makes life with a cat feel like a relationship rather than ownership. The cat is not only expressing needs, it is learning a human-centered communication channel and using it daily. In that sense, meowing at us is a social invention. A cat's tongue is covered in tiny hooks, forming a natural grooming brush. If you have ever been licked by a cat, you know the sensation can feel like sandpaper. That roughness comes from backward-facing spines on the tongue that act like a built-in comb. As a cat grooms itself, those hooks catch loose fur and clean down to the skin, reaching places a smooth tongue never could. This grooming is not only about appearance. It helps remove debris, spread natural oils, and maintain the coat's condition. It also explains why cats swallow so much fur, which can sometimes lead to hairballs. You can watch the tongue work like a precise tool, pulling through the coat in short, deliberate strokes. It is one of the most elegant pieces of everyday engineering in an animal we often think of as simple. The tongue is a brush, a cleaner, and a maintenance system all in one. Even in quiet moments, a cat is often doing careful work, keeping its body ready for whatever comes next. Cats can hear far higher pitches than dogs, reaching well beyond the range of human hearing. A cat's world is filled with sounds you never notice. High, thin squeaks, faint rustles, and the smallest taps stand out to them like clear signals. This sensitivity likely evolved from hunting small prey, where even a tiny sound can reveal location. While humans focus on voices and lower tones, cats are tuned to frequencies that fade into silence for us. That is why a cat may suddenly freeze, lift its head, and focus intently on something you cannot hear at all. It is not always mystery. Often, it is simply superior hearing doing its job. This heightened sensitivity also means loud or sudden noises can be especially stressful. Cats process sound quickly and intensely. In a home, this shapes behavior in subtle ways, from reacting to a distant door closing to noticing the faint hum of a device. To a cat, the house is never truly quiet. It is alive with signals. The domestic cat still shares much of its hunting biology with wild cats. Beneath the softness of a living room nap lies a predator design that has barely been softened by comfort. The body is built for ambush, not endurance. A cat watches movement, lowers its head, and lets the shoulders rise and fall like a slow tide as it stalks. The final rush is not a long chase. It is a short, precise burst. Teeth and jaws are shaped for efficiency, and claws remain hidden until the exact moment they are needed. Even play follows the same sequence: watch, creep, pounce, grab, bite. This is not a cute habit. It is practice. Many indoor cats still feel most alert at night because their instincts are tuned to twilight, when small animals are naturally active. In a quiet home, you are living beside an ancient specialist. Cats walk with a rolling gait that keeps their movement unusually silent. When a cat crosses a room, it can feel as if the sound level drops. Part of this comes from how they place their feet with careful precision, landing softly and distributing weight smoothly. Their steps often follow a clean pattern, with the back foot landing close to the print of the front foot, keeping the body stable. The spine and shoulders join the motion, creating that fluid glide that looks effortless. This is stealth you can see even when you cannot hear it. It is also why cats move confidently along narrow surfaces, from fence tops to the backs of sofas, without clatter. You may notice this most at night, when a cat can pass through the house without waking anyone. That silence is not politeness, it is inheritance. A cat's collarbone floats freely, helping it squeeze through narrow gaps. The front of a cat's body is built like a flexible machine designed for slipping, climbing, and sudden turns. Unlike many animals, the collarbone is not locked into a rigid frame. Instead, the shoulders move with extra freedom, allowing the front legs to step around obstacles and the body to compress through surprisingly small spaces. That is why a cat can pause at an opening that seems too tight, hesitate for a moment, and then flow through anyway. The shoulder blades slide smoothly along the rib cage, adding to that liquid quality of movement. Cats are not made of rubber. Their skeleton simply allows controlled folding. In the wild, this matters for dens and escapes. At home, it explains how a cat can vanish behind furniture or slip through a door you thought was barely open. Slow blinking is a cat's calm signal, often described as a cat kiss. When a cat looks at you and slowly closes its eyes, the moment can feel stretched. This is not just drowsiness. In feline social language, a hard stare can signal tension, while relaxed eyelids signal safety. A slow blink says, "I am not a threat, and I trust you." Many people discover that if they return the gesture, closing their eyes gently and reopening them slowly, the cat may blink back or even move closer. It becomes a quiet exchange without words. You can see this same language between cats that share space peacefully. Its beauty lies in simplicity. No commands, no training, just trust expressed through timing. In a loud world, the slow blink is deliberate kindness. The scent glands on a cat's cheeks gently mark you as familiar territory. When a cat presses its face against your leg or nudges your hand, it is doing more than asking for affection. Along the cheeks and around the mouth are glands that release a friendly signature scent. By rubbing against you, the cat places that scent onto your skin and clothing, quietly saying, "You are part of my safe circle." This behavior often appears when you return home, as the cat re-establishes the household as steady and familiar. Cats do the same along furniture corners and door frames, building a scent-based map of comfort throughout their space. In homes with multiple cats, this shared marking can reduce tension by blending scents and making the environment feel mutual rather than contested. To humans, it feels like a sweet greeting. To the cat, it is also reassurance, a practical way to make the world smell predictable and calm. Cats can rotate their ears independently, pinpointing the faintest sounds. A cat can be half asleep and still listening in a way that feels almost unfair. Each ear is controlled by a network of small muscles that allow it to swivel, tilt, and track sound. One ear may turn toward you while the other follows something moving across the room. This independence helps cats locate sounds with remarkable accuracy, even when they are brief or hidden. You can watch the ears flick like tiny radar dishes, constantly sampling the environment. In hunting, this precision can mean the difference between catching prey and missing it. In a home, it can look mysterious. A cat may freeze, ears rotating, focused on a noise you cannot hear at all. But for them, the soundscape is layered and detailed. Even in stillness, those ears are gathering information. A cat's nose print is unique, much like a human fingerprint. Up close, a cat's nose shows tiny ridges, bumps, and textures shaped by biology, and as individual as a signature. The nose is designed to stay slightly moist, helping capture scent particles from the air. When a cat leans in to sniff, it is not casual. It is reading the world. Cats often pause at doorways or investigate new objects because scent confirms what is safe and what is unfamiliar. You may see a cat take short, repeated sniffs, building a clearer picture with each breath. This is one reason cats can recognize people and places without seeing them. Even if a room looks unchanged, smell tells a deeper story. For a cat, the nose is a guide, a memory tool, and a map. Cats barely taste sweetness due to a small genetic change. If you offered a cat something sugary, it would not experience the same pleasure a human might. Cats lack a fully functioning sweet taste receptor, meaning sweetness barely registers. This fits their role as true meat specialists. In nature, cats never needed fruit or sugar for survival. Their calories came from animal prey rich in protein and fat. As a result, their senses evolved to prioritize what mattered most, especially the smells and tastes that signal meat. This is why many cats ignore desserts, yet become intensely interested in fish or roasted chicken. It is also a reminder that cats do not experience the kitchen like we do. They are not small humans in fur. Their biology is tuned to a different menu, shaped by hunting rather than sugar. Sometimes, a cat sniffs something and then pauses with its mouth slightly open, lips curled in an expression that looks almost humorous. This is known as the flamen response. It is not confusion or silliness, it is analysis. This posture helps guide chemical cues toward a special scent-reading system that interprets social information, especially signals left by other animals. You might see this after a cat investigates a new bag, a visitor's clothing, or an area another cat has marked. In the wild, this response helps cats understand who has passed through an area and whether caution is needed. At home, it reveals how much invisible information exists beneath calm surfaces. Even a single sniff can unlock a hidden story. A cat's tail works as both a balance tool and an emotional signal. The tail helps stabilize the body during quick movements, but it also acts as a visible mood indicator. A relaxed, upright tail often appears during friendly greetings. A puffed tail makes a frightened cat look larger and more intimidating. Slow swishes can signal focus or irritation, while a fast whipping tail warns that patience is running thin. Cats also wrap their tails around their bodies for warmth and comfort, like a built-in blanket. In social situations, tail posture allows others to read intention from a distance. For humans, learning this language changes everything. The tail is honest. It shows how a cat feels in real time. Cats groom themselves not only to stay clean, but also to cool down and calm their nervous system. A grooming session may look like simple tidying, but it is also a full-body reset. The tongue moves through the fur in steady strokes, lifting dirt and loose hair, while spreading natural oils that keep the coat healthy and weather-ready. There is also a cooling effect. As saliva spreads across the fur and evaporates, it helps release excess heat, especially in warm, still air. Perhaps most surprising is how soothing grooming can be. Many cats lick themselves in slow, rhythmic patterns after excitement, conflict, or sudden noise, as if gently turning down their internal volume. You often see this after a tense encounter or when play ends abruptly. When grooming becomes excessive, however, it can signal stress. This makes the behavior both a comfort and a clue. Some cats chirp or chatter at birds, a behavior linked to hunting excitement. You are standing by a window with a cat, and outside, a bird hops along a branch. The cat's body tightens with focus. The tip of the tail may twitch, and then comes that strange sound, a quick chirp or rattling chatter. This sound often appears right at the edge of action. Some people think it reflects frustration, the desire to reach prey that is out of reach. Others hear it as pure excitement, the mind running through a hunt that cannot happen. Some researchers suggest it may relate to the rapid jaw movements used in a precise killing bite, as if the body is rehearsing. Whatever the exact reason, it is a moment when the predator briefly surfaces beneath the pet. A quiet room fills with compressed intention, released in a small, almost secret sound. Kittens learn social skills early, and timing shapes confidence for life. A kitten is not born knowing how to live with others. The early weeks function like an accelerated school, where every touch and reaction teaches something. Gentle handling helps kittens become comfortable with human hands, voices, and everyday household sounds. Play with litter mates teaches bite control and boundaries. A bite that hurts brings immediate feedback, and the lesson is learned quickly. When early experiences are missing or disrupted, some cats grow into adults who startle easily or struggle with new situations. This does not mean adaptation is impossible, but it can take longer. This is why early exposure matters so much. Calm introductions to carriers, brushes, visitors, or new rooms can become part of a cat's internal map of safety. Confidence often forms before a kitten is fully grown. Many cats knead with their paws, echoing nursing behavior from infancy. Kneading looks like a slow massage, paws pressing and releasing against soft surfaces like blankets, laps, or cushions. The behavior traces back to kittenhood, when nursing kittens pressed against their mother to stimulate milk flow. That early motion becomes linked with warmth, nourishment, and security, so it can reappear later in moments of deep comfort. Some cats knead with half-closed eyes and gentle purring, as if drifting into memory. Claws may extend slightly, not from aggression, but because the movement is instinctive. In the wild, kneading may also relate to preparing a resting place, patting down grass or leaves before settling. In a home, it becomes a tender ritual that signals trust. It comes from a time when the world felt small, warm, and safe. Cats sprint using fast twitch muscles designed for sudden bursts of speed. A cat's athletic power is not built for endurance. It is built for lightning. Fast twitch muscle fibers allow instant acceleration when a cat launches after a toy, darts under a chair, or leaps to a shelf. In hunting, this makes perfect sense. The cat waits, gathers itself, and then commits to a brief, decisive burst where timing matters more than distance. You see the same pattern in play. Long pauses, careful watching, and then explosive movement. This is not laziness, it is energy strategy. These powerful bursts cost a great deal of energy, which is why cats prefer short, intense activity followed by recovery. Play sessions that mimic stalking and pouncing often satisfy a cat more than constant running. Their bodies are tuned for quick stories, not long chases. A cat's pupils narrow into vertical slits, protecting highly sensitive eyes. In bright light, the pupils can contract into thin lines, almost like a camera aperture closing. This shape is not decorative. It allows precise control over how much light enters the eye, protecting a visual system designed to be extremely sensitive. The vertical slit reduces glare while maintaining sharp focus, which is essential for judging distance and movement. When light fades, the pupils can widen dramatically, gathering whatever illumination is available. This rapid adjustment helps cats move easily from bright spaces into dim ones, such as stepping from a sunny window into a shadowed hallway. Pupil size is also part of a cat's expressive face. Wide pupils can signal excitement, fear, or intense interest, while narrow pupils may appear during bright conditions or heightened focus. If you watch carefully, you can sometimes see the pupils change as a cat's mood shifts, as if the eyes are telling a quiet story. Cats have a reflective layer in their eyes that boosts low-light vision. When light hits a cat's eyes at night, you may see a glow of green, gold, or blue. This shine comes from a reflective layer behind the retina that bounces light back through the eye, giving light-sensitive cells a second chance to detect it. This system effectively recycles faint light instead of letting it disappear. The result is a strong advantage in dim conditions, where movement is easier to spot. This reflective layer also explains why cats' eyes appear luminous in headlights or hallway nightlights. The trade-off is slightly reduced fine detail in bright conditions, but cats are built to prioritize motion and low-light performance. In twilight, when humans begin to squint, cats continue reading the room with confidence. Sudden zoomies often release stored energy, excitement, or mild stress. One moment, the house is still. The next, your cat is racing down the hallway, bouncing off corners and skidding across the floor like a small comet. These sudden bursts, often called zoomies, are common, especially in younger cats. They may appear after a long nap, after using the litter box, or during evening hours when natural activity increases. Sometimes it is pure play energy, searching for an outlet. Sometimes it is a way to shake off tension, turning nervous energy into motion. You may see the cat pause mid-run, eyes bright, then take off again with the same wild joy. It can look chaotic, but it is often self-regulation in action. Many cats settle more easily once the burst ends, as if the sprint cleared their system. In a safe home, zoomies are usually the sound of a healthy engine revving. Cats prefer routine because sudden change triggers vigilance. Cats are experts at noticing small differences, which makes predictability deeply comforting. Familiar feeding times, consistent sleeping spots, and well-known paths through a room reduce the need to stay alert. When something changes, a moved sofa, a new scent, an unfamiliar person, or a loud suitcase, a cat may shift into caution. You might see more hiding, more watching from a distance, or repeated checking of corners. This is not stubbornness, it is survival. In nature, change can signal danger, and cautious animals live longer. The good news is that gentle consistency restores calm, returning to familiar rhythms, offering predictable play, and allowing a cat control over distance and approach helps rebuild trust. Once a new routine forms, many cats relax again. Routine is not boredom. To a cat, it is safety written into time. A cat's sense of smell guides food choices more than taste. To a cat, a meal begins with a sniff. Scent carries rich information about freshness, safety, and identity. This is why a cat with a congested nose may suddenly seem picky. The flavor has not changed, but the scent pathway has. Warm food can become more appealing because heat releases aroma into the air. You may notice a cat sniff, step back, and return for another check, as if confirming the answer. Cats also remember smells strongly. A familiar scent means comfort, while a new one means caution, even if the food looks the same to you. This smell-first approach explains why cats can seem selective in confusing ways. They are not judging sweetness or variety. They are listening to the story told by scent. Cats detect faint vibrations through sensitive receptors in their paw pads. A cat can learn about a room without seeing it clearly, simply by standing still. Beneath the soft pads are touch receptors that sense tiny tremors, the kind created by footsteps in another room, a door settling in its frame, or a small animal moving under the floor. This sensitivity explains why some cats seem to appear before you hear anyone arrive, or why they suddenly fixate on a spot that looks completely empty. Their feet are not just for walking. They are part of a quiet, early warning system. This ability also helps during hunting, where feeling movement can matter as much as hearing it. Even play reveals it. A skittering toy can be tracked through the floor with remarkable accuracy. When a cat presses a paw on something, it is sometimes listening through the skin. The Jacobson's organ allows cats to analyze scent almost as if tasting the air. A cat's nose does more than identify food. Inside the roof of the mouth is a special scent processing system that reads chemical information left by other animals. This information can reveal who has been nearby, how recently, and even something about emotional state. That is why a cat may become intensely focused on a single patch of carpet or sniff a doorway as if it holds news. To humans, there is nothing there. To a cat, it is a message board. This ability helps explain moments when a cat seems to know what happened while you were away, or why a harmless object suddenly feels suspicious. Their world is not only what they see, it is what the air remembers. Cats drink little water, reflecting ancestors from dry environments. Many cats carry a desert-shaped history in their bodies. Their wild relatives often survived where open water was scarce, drawing moisture primarily from prey. That pattern remains today, where some cats barely visit their water bowl despite being healthy. Instead, they may prefer moisture hidden in food or take small, careful sips. This surprises people who expect steady drinking. It also explains why many cats are fascinated by dripping taps or freshly poured water. Movement signals freshness, and freshness matters when water is limited. Some cats even wait until the house is quiet before drinking, as if it is private business. A cat is not being difficult when it drinks little. It is following an ancient survivor script written long before kitchens existed. A cat's kidneys concentrate urine extremely efficiently. Inside a cat is a powerful water-saving system. The kidneys reclaim moisture so well that cat urine can be far more concentrated than that of humans. This adaptation allowed survival in harsh landscapes where water was unreliable. It also means cats can remain hydrated with less drinking, especially when eating moist food. However, it reduces the margin for error. When water intake drops too far, problems can develop quickly. This is one reason veterinarians emphasize hydration strategies, especially as cats age. This system is not a modern trick. It is ancient engineering. Every lap of water is supported by an internal mechanism designed to stretch resources as far as possible. Cats sleep long hours, but much of that sleep is light. A sleeping cat may look completely gone from the world, yet much of its rest happens in a dozing state where waking is easy. You can see it in small signs. An ear swivels, whiskers twitch, eyes open briefly, then close again. This pattern suits an animal that hunts, but must also avoid danger. Deep unconscious sleep for long periods would be risky, so cats mastered half sleep. They recharge while monitoring their surroundings. This is why a cat may seem to teleport from a sofa the moment you open a cupboard. They were not fully asleep. They were resting with awareness. Cats choose sleeping spots strategically, often with a view or an escape route. Even at rest, they are quietly alert. Dream sleep in cats includes twitching paws, whiskers, and tails. Sometimes a cat sinks into deeper sleep and the stillness changes. A paw flexes as if stepping. Whiskers tremble. The jaw moves slightly. The tail flicks in response to something unseen. This is dream sleep, when the brain is active while the body remains mostly still. Watching it can feel like glimpsing a private story, perhaps a chase, a climb, or a memory from earlier that day. Kittens show these movements more strongly, fitting their rapid learning. Adults do it too, often more subtly. Cats are not only reacting to the world, they are processing it, replaying experience, refining skills, and organizing memory while curled into sleep. Cats can learn words and tones, even when they pretend not to listen. A cat may appear indifferent, but that does not mean learning is not happening. Over time, many cats associate specific sounds with specific outcomes. The sound of a food container opening, a familiar person arriving, a carrier appearing, or the start of play all become meaningful signals. Cats do not respond like dogs because they are not built for constant obedience. Their reactions are strategic. If coming when called has led to good outcomes before, you may see a quick response. If it has led to nail trimming, you may be met with silence and disappearance. Tone matters as well. A calm, gentle voice often signals safety, while sharp or raised sounds can create distance. This learning can become surprisingly detailed. Some cats recognize the names of people in the household or respond differently to phrases that predict routine. The interesting part is the choice involved. A cat may understand perfectly and still decide not to act. That is not defiance, it is agency. Cats use body angles more than facial expressions to communicate comfort or warning. Humans search faces for emotion, but cats speak with posture. A slight turn of the body can say, "I am relaxed," or "I am preparing to leave." A cat that feels safe often sits loosely, offering its side rather than facing directly forward. A cat that feels uncertain may stiffen, lower its body, and keep weight ready to shift. The angle of the head, the curve of the back, and the placement of the paws all form a quiet sentence. These signals are easy to miss because they are not loud. They are geometric. Learning to notice them allows you to understand moments before they happen. You can see when a cat is about to play, when it wants space, or when it is simply observing the world in calm attention. It is like learning a language written in angles and pauses rather than words. A raised, gently quivering tail often signals joy or greeting. There is a specific kind of feline welcome that feels unmistakable. The tail lifts straight up and trembles slightly, as if excitement is bubbling through the body. This quiver often appears when a cat is happy to see someone it trusts, especially after time apart. It may also appear at mealtime or just before a favorite routine begins, like play or settling into a warm lap. This motion is different from an agitated thresh. It is contained excitement, bright but controlled. Some cats pair it with a soft sound or a quick rub against a leg. In multi-cat homes, bonded cats may show it to each other as well. It is one of the purest signals cats offer. It carries no demand. It simply says, "I'm glad you're here." Cats gently headbutt to exchange scent and strengthen social bonds. A cat's headbutt is not a push, it is a ritual. The forehead and surrounding areas contain scent glands that release familiar signals during gentle contact. When a cat bumps you, it is sharing its signature scent while also picking up yours. This behavior, sometimes called bunting, appears between cats that trust one another deeply. With humans, it often arrives as a quiet, solid tap that communicates more than a meow. It also signals confidence because the cat is choosing close contact without fear. The manner matters. A slow, deliberate headbutt usually expresses calm affection. In that small gesture, the cat is not only saying hello, it is reaffirming belonging, like family members brushing shoulders as they pass. Black fur can be linked to genes that also influence immunity. A black-coated cat may carry more than a striking appearance. In several species, including domestic cats and their wild relatives, genes tied to dark pigmentation overlap with pathways involved in immune response. This does not mean every black cat is healthier, but it shows how evolution sometimes bundles traits together. In environments with high disease pressure, a genetic change affecting color may travel alongside changes that improve resistance. Over time, darker coats can become more common. The idea is still studied, but it reminds us that color is not always cosmetic. Fur can be a visible hint of invisible biology. When a black cat moves through a doorway like a shadow, it may be carrying a deeper evolutionary story. White cats with blue eyes have a higher chance of deafness. Some of the most visually striking cats with pure white coats and bright blue eyes carry a hidden risk that often surprises people. The same genetic mechanisms that create white coloration can also interfere with the development of the inner ear. As a result, deafness may occur in one ear or both. This has nothing to do with intelligence or personality, but it does shape how a cat experiences the world. Deaf cats often become highly skilled at reading vibrations, routines, and visual cues from humans. They may startle more easily when touched unexpectedly, simply because they cannot hear approach. Many caregivers learn to communicate with gentle floor taps, hand signals, or light changes to announce presence. It becomes a quiet partnership built on awareness and adaptation. A cat can lose one sense and still thrive, creating a full life through the senses that remain. Calico and tortoiseshell coats usually appear in females due to genetics. These coats look like living paintings, with patches of color arranged in patterns that seem almost intentional. The explanation lies in chromosomes. Genes for orange and black coat color are carried on the X chromosome, and females typically have two. Early in development, each cell randomly selects which X chromosome remains active. This process creates a mosaic. Some regions grow orange, others black, and the coat becomes a visible record of early cellular decisions. Male cats usually have only one X chromosome, which is why this pattern is rare in them, though unusual genetic combinations do exist. When you look at a calico or tortoiseshell cat, you are seeing genetics made visible, a biography written in fur. It is a powerful reminder of how simple rules inside cells can produce endless individuality. Some cats have extra toes, a trait known as polydactyly. Polydactyl cats often appear to be wearing mittens, with wide, sturdy paws that many people find charming. This trait has a notable history linked to port towns and sailing ships. Sailors valued cats for rodent control, and polydactyl cats were sometimes favored because their broad paws seemed to provide better balance on moving decks. As ships traveled between ports, cats traveled with them, spreading the genes along coastlines. In some regions, the trait became unusually common. Extra toes can also give cats surprising dexterity, such as a stronger grip on toys or climbing surfaces. Care includes checking claws that may grow at unusual angles. Polydactyly is a reminder that history sometimes travels on 4 feet and leaves behind unexpected details. Hairless cat breeds still sweat and require careful skin care. A hairless cat may feel like warm suede beneath your hand, but that softness comes with unique needs. Without fur to absorb oils or protect the skin, natural secretions can build up, making gentle bathing or wiping an important part of care. These cats also lose heat quickly. A sunny window may feel perfect, while a cool room can be uncomfortable. Many wear soft sweaters not as costumes, but as insulation. Hairlessness does not mean hypoallergenic, since allergies are usually linked to skin proteins rather than fur. Living with a hairless cat shifts attention to temperature, skin, and touch. In return, many of these cats become deeply people-oriented, seeking warmth and closeness as part of daily life. The Siamese coat pattern is shaped by temperature-sensitive pigment. Siamese cats appear darker at the ears, face, paws, and tail, while the body remains lighter. This pattern comes from a pigment-producing system that responds to temperature. In warmer areas of the body, pigment production is reduced. In cooler extremities, it increases. Kittens are often born very light because the womb is warm and evenly heated. As they grow and temperature differences develop, darker points slowly appear. Environmental temperature can influence tone over time, with cooler conditions deepening contrast. The result is a living gradient, a visual map shaped by warmth and chemistry rather than fixed paint. When you see those dark points, you are witnessing physics expressed through fur. Folded ears arise from cartilage genes that can affect joint health. Folded ears give some cats a permanently curious expression, but the gene responsible affects cartilage throughout the body, not just in the ears. Because cartilage supports joints, this change can increase the risk of pain or stiffness as cats age. Symptoms may develop gradually and be easy to miss. Ethical breeding discussions emphasize awareness and monitoring, ensuring comfort and early care when needed. This trait highlights an important lesson. Appearance can come with hidden costs. Appreciating cats fully means understanding both beauty and responsibility. A cat's coat can change with seasons, light, and hormones. A cat's fur is not a static outfit. It is a living system that responds to the world. Many cats grow thicker coats as daylight shortens, then shed heavily as seasons shift toward warmth. Indoor life can blur this rhythm, but light still plays a role because day length influences hormonal signals that guide hair growth. Health changes can affect the coat as well. Stress, illness, or hormonal shifts may alter shine, density, or shedding patterns, turning fur into a visible reflection of internal balance. Color can even appear to change subtly as new hairs grow, especially in cats with layered or patterned coats. Brushing may feel like simple grooming, but it is also cooperation with biology, helping remove loose hair and supporting comfort during seasonal transitions. Watching a coat change over the year can feel grounding, like seeing time written softly into fur. Fever coat appears when a pregnant cat experiences stress. Sometimes, kittens are born with fur that looks unusually pale or silvery, as if lightly dusted. This can happen when a pregnant cat experiences illness, fever, or significant stress, affecting pigment development in the womb. The effect is temporary. As the kitten grows and sheds its first coat, the true underlying color usually appears. For new caregivers, this transformation can be surprising. What seemed like one color slowly becomes another. This is not magic. It is a developmental record, a snapshot of early conditions translated into fur. It also highlights how sensitive developing bodies are to maternal well-being. Calm environments, proper nutrition, and veterinary support during pregnancy leave quiet but lasting marks. Cats can favor one paw, similar to human-handedness. If you watch a cat closely during play, patterns often emerge. One paw reaches first. One hooks toys more confidently. One steps forward before the other when entering new spaces. Many cats show consistent paw preference across different activities. This suggests subtle differences in how the brain's hemispheres guide movement. Some studies hint that preference may vary by sex or temperament, though not all cats show a strong bias. Those that do can remain remarkably consistent over time. It is a small detail, but it adds to the sense that cats are individuals, not symmetrical machines, each with a preferred way of interacting with the world. The smallest wild cat species can weigh less than a house cat. Some wild cats are so small they seem almost unreal, like oversized kittens living secret lives. These species are built light and compact, allowing them to hunt tiny prey while avoiding larger predators. Small size is not weakness. It allows stealth, agility, and survival on minimal resources. Despite their scale, these cats carry the same sharp instincts, patience, and precision seen in domestic cats stalking toys at home. When imagining wild cats, people often think of lions or tigers. Yet some of the most intense lives belong to cats that weigh less than the one asleep on your sofa. Even the largest cats share behaviors seen in kittens. A tiger outweighs a human many times over, yet still plays, practices, and learns through behaviors that feel familiar. Young big cats wrestle, pounce, and chase in short bursts, long before hunting becomes real. That playful rehearsal continues into adulthood. Even powerful predators may bat at objects or roll during play. The nervous system design is shared. Cats refine balance, timing, and confidence through play at every size. When you watch a kitten leap sideways in surprise, you are seeing the same family blueprint that powers lions and leopards. One design, expressed across different scales, like the same melody played on many instruments. Domestic cats can hybridize with wild cats, complicating conservation. In some regions, wild cat populations live close to farms and villages, where encounters with domestic cats become possible. When breeding occurs, the resulting kittens may look wild and behave cautiously, while quietly carrying domestic genes into wild populations. Over time, this blending can dilute traits that evolved specifically for certain landscapes, making conservation more difficult. Identification becomes challenging as well. A cat may resemble a wild species at a glance, while genetics reveal a more complex history. Conservation efforts often face a delicate balance, protecting wild populations while domestic animals share nearby territory. This is not a story of blame. It is a consequence of human expansion and overlapping habitats. Even a household cat can become part of a much larger ecological conservation at the edges of wilderness. Island cats can dramatically reshape ecosystems. On islands, species often evolve without certain predators, leaving them especially vulnerable. When cats arrive, even in small numbers, the balance can shift quickly. Ground-nesting birds, small reptiles, and native mammals may have no defense against a silent, patient hunter. The impact can ripple outward. Fewer birds may lead to insect population changes. Altered predator-prey relationships reshape entire systems. This is not about cats being harmful by nature. It is about islands being fragile. Conservation strategies often focus on keeping cats indoors, managing colonies responsibly, and protecting critical habitats. The lesson is uncomfortable, but real. An animal that feels ordinary at home can become powerful in a new environment, simply by following instincts it was built to follow. Cats traveled on ships to protect food stores from rats. Ships were floating pantries, and wherever stored food traveled, rodents followed. Cats became valued crew members, quietly patrolling dark holds and lower decks. Sailors often spoke of ship cats with affection and superstition, believing good hunters brought luck and calmer voyages. As ships crossed oceans, cats crossed with them, stepping onto unfamiliar docks and slowly shaping local cat populations. Modern house cats still carry echoes of that working history. There is a famous legend of a cat that survived multiple shipwrecks. Stories tell of a ship's cat found alive after disasters at sea again and again, until it became a symbol of resilience. The most well-known version features unsinkable Sam, said to have survived several sinkings during World War II. Details vary, and that uncertainty gives the story a mythic quality. What remains true is that ship cats existed, lived alongside crews, and sometimes survived events no one expected. Even when history blurs into legend, the story reflects a deep respect for feline endurance. In medieval Europe, cats were feared, then desperately needed again. At times, superstition painted cats, especially black cats, as symbols of danger or bad luck. Fear led to rejection and harm. Yet practical reality persisted. As rodents spread disease and consumed stored food, the value of skilled mousers became impossible to ignore. Cats returned to favor not through belief, but through necessity. This cycle shows how culture and biology collide. Humans create stories, but ecosystems respond to reality. Cat history is not a clean arc of progress. It is messy, shaped by fear, need, and rediscovery. Cats endured it all. Japan's beckoning cat symbolizes good fortune and welcome. In shops and restaurants across Japan, a small cat figurine raises one paw as if inviting you inside. The maneki neko carries layered meaning, blending charm, hospitality, and hope. Different colors and raised paws symbolize different wishes, from prosperity to protection. Origin stories vary, involving temples, travelers, and moments of chance. Whether taken literally or not, the symbol endures because it feels right. Cats move quietly through human spaces, and their presence often feels lucky. A simple raised paw becomes an invitation, a promise of warmth and return. Cats appear in ancient art across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Long before the internet turned cats into icons, humans were already drawing them, carving them, and placing them into stories. Ancient art shows cats in scenes of home life, hunting, and symbolism. Sometimes they appear as protectors, sometimes as playful companions, and sometimes as sacred figures. Cats can be found painted in Egyptian tombs, hinted at in Roman mosaics, and woven into artwork across Asia, where they appear beside everyday objects and seasonal moments. What is striking is how recognizable they remain. The alert ears, the curved tail, the poised stillness. Artists noticed the same traits we notice today, that blend of elegance and unpredictability. These images are time capsules of relationship. They show that people did more than tolerate cats. They observed them closely, remembered them, and gave them a place in human imagination. When you see an ancient image of a cat, it is a reminder that their quiet spell is not new. It has been working for a very long time. The first cat shows helped shape modern breeding culture. In the 19th century, cats began to be celebrated publicly, not only as household helpers, but as animals with named types and recorded traits. One of the earliest famous cat shows took place in London at the Crystal Palace in 1871. Visitors admired coats, colors, and forms displayed side by side, and early standards began to form. This changed how many people viewed cats. A cat could be both companion and lineage. It also sparked debates about health, ethics, and responsibility in selective breeding. The show was more than entertainment. It was a turning point that brought cats fully into the public spotlight. A cat's meow adapts through human feedback, becoming a learned tool. Meowing is not fixed. Many cats shape their vocalizations over time, learning which sounds produce results. A short sound may bring attention. A longer, rising tone may bring food. If one version works better, it becomes part of the cat's personal vocabulary. Some cats even sound different with different people, adjusting volume and tone based on response. This is not instinct alone. It is learning shaped by outcome. With humans, meowing becomes a bridge between species. Cats recognize their owner's voice, even when they ignore it. Recognition does not always lead to response. A flick of an ear, a pause, or a brief lift of the head can signal that the voice was registered. The meaning lives in rhythm and tone, not commands. Cats rub objects after eating to spread reassuring scent. After a meal, some cats move through the room rubbing furniture, walls, or people. Eating is vulnerable in nature, and scent marking afterward restores a sense of safety. When your leg becomes part of that circuit, you are included in the calm. Scratching leaves both visual marks and scent. Scratching turns ordinary surfaces into familiar landmarks. It stretches muscles, releases scent from the paws, and anchors the cat in its environment. It is communication layered into motion. Cats hide illness instinctively. Subtle changes in behavior often matter more than dramatic signs. Knowing a cat's normal routines makes small shifts easier to notice. Silence can be strength, but it can also be a quiet request for help. Whisker positions signal emotion. Forward whiskers suggest interest. Flattened whiskers signal stress. Learning to read them reveals emotions before they escalate. Enrichment reduces stress and supports well-being. Play, puzzle feeders, and vertical space give the brain meaningful work. Balance creates calm. Cats coexist peacefully when they have choice. Vertical space and multiple routes allow silent negotiation instead of conflict. Training works when it feels like a game. Rewards, targets, and short sessions build confidence and trust. A cat's heart beats much faster than a human's, supporting sudden bursts of action. Even at rest, the body is ready. Cats have a protective third eyelid that keeps eyes healthy and moist. It works quietly, visible only in moments of deep relaxation. Allergies come from skin proteins, not fur. Some cats naturally produce less, which explains why reactions vary. Cats can overheat quietly. Shade, airflow, and awareness are essential. Lilies are extremely toxic to cats. Prevention saves lives. Cats process medications differently. Human drugs can be deadly. Dental health affects the entire body. Hormonal changes can reshape behavior. Long-lived cats often share stable routines and attentive care. Cats navigate using scent maps and memory. They prefer water placed away from food. Deep bowls can overstimulate whiskers. High resting spots offer safety and control. Following you can signal affection. Playfighting rehearses hunting. Bringing prey is social behavior. Outdoor life carries higher risk. Indoor cats thrive with enrichment. Cats form bonds with other cats. Managed feral colonies benefit from TNR programs. Catnip response is genetic. Silvervine excites some cats instead. Synthetic pheromones can ease stress. Cats detect human emotions through patterns. Cats were studied in space. The first cloned pet was a cat. Cats helped shape vision science. Their hunting shaped human history. Many breeds arose from natural mutation. Maine Coons reflect cold climate adaptation. Scottish Folds highlight welfare concerns. Bengals carry wild echoes. Ragdolls reflect selected temperament. Sphinx cats depend on warmth. Russian blues have dense coats. Turkish vans often love water. Abyssinians look ancient but are modern. Heterochromia creates striking individuality. Cats remain both predator and companion. They live beside us, not beneath us. As our journey gently comes to rest, we have wandered through the quiet world of cats, from whisker to tail tip. We have seen hunters shaped by shadow and patience, companions curled into warm corners of our lives, and beings carrying ancient instincts beneath soft fur. From grain stores and ships to sofas and windowsills, each detail has revealed something small, precise, and deeply connected. Cats move at an unhurried pace. They pause. They watch. They choose stillness when the world grows loud. There is comfort in that rhythm, a reminder that not everything must rush forward. Some things are allowed to settle. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them rest. Let your breathing slow. Let curiosity fade into calm, like paw prints softening in fresh snow. There will always be another gentle journey waiting, but for now, the night can hold the rest. Sleep well. Good night.